In this video, I'm going to discuss my thoughts and feelings on the Haslab. Please feel free of dropping your comments down below, what your thoughts and feelings are. Maybe they line up with mine, maybe they're slightly different take. Definitely interested to hear from you. But in this video, I'm going to discuss my thoughts on Haslabs in general. What's up YouTube? I'm Alpha Prime, welcome back to the channel. In today's video I'm going to discuss my thoughts and feelings on Haslabs. Now that could be Star Wars, Transformers. I've had a few of the Star Wars Haslabs and the Transformers ones, and I think what we're getting, obviously what stoked this for me is the arrival of the RID 2001 Optimus and Ultra Magnets, which I still haven't got as of this moment. Hopefully in the next week or so it'll probably arrive. But with everyone having the QC issues now, QC issues should not be happening. When you buy a figure or anything at retail, like, you don't expect to have QC issues. Otherwise, you expect to have that returned and get a non-faulty product. So that besides the point. But what I'm thinking is that what people or collectors in general, and what I thought initially for myself, was that you'd be getting a real premium sort of thing where it's above and beyond what the regular releases, figures at retail. But as I've sort of took a sit back, I've listened to obviously other reviewers and I've heard their sort of thoughts and feelings on different Haslabs and stuff, and I've actually came to a sort of conclusion on myself that what we're expecting to get and what we're actually getting is two different things. I think we need to realize that we're not getting third-party level or masterpiece level within these Haslabs. I mean, take Star Wars for example. You're getting the big ships, like the Razor Crest, the Ghost, stuff like that there, that in today's day and age would take up a lot of space on a retail shelf. If you go to your local Smiths or in America and Target and stuff like there, you don't have these big, massive figures. I barely, in my area, see any of the Titan class figures, never mind, a Unicron or a Razor Crest, or, them sort of scaled boxes take up a lot of space on the shelves. So it takes a big risk too, because they come with a higher price tag because they're bigger, they're more detailed. The Razor Crest's amazing, the details in it, the size of it, you get the stand and stuff. But at retail, would that have sold for the price that they were having it, or they were expecting to get for it? Now you filter that into the thought of a lot of people, which I see across the board in different collecting groups and stuff like that, there is, I'll wait till it goes on sale. Now, for something of that magnitude, most of the backers for the Haslabs is usually a 10,000 minimum, roughly. Thereabouts. Some have been higher, some have been lower. That's obviously the minimum that the company wants, or needs, or whatever, to produce this product. So therefore, are they going to get 10,000 sales at retail? Are retailers going to stock that amount of figures that are going to sell at full price? They're not going to take that risk of them having to then go on sale. So the Haslab is Hasbro's way of giving us these big ticket items, your Unicrons, your Razor Crest, your Ghosts, because at retail they're just not going to sell. RID 2001 Optimus definitely threw a wee bit of a spin, because I thought that probably would have sold pretty decently at retail. But again, it's the size of the box, and I don't think that a lot of shops are going to stock boxes, figures of that magnitude, that size. You know, they want their Voyagers, leader class tops, I think. As I say for that, but like obviously Victory Saber, Death Source, you had to be a real big fan to really look for those sort of characters. So therefore I think Haslab was good. Unicron, can you really see any retailer, you know, like a Smith's and a Target and stuff out there, do you really see them stocking a box of that size? Definitely not. The Ghost, they're not going to stock a box that size. So therefore, I think that these Haslabs aren't so much for getting a premium figure, masterpiece quality, die cast, the works and stuff. You're getting what you would have got for your chug scale and Transformers, what you would get for chug scale. So your mainline, your Age of the Primes, your Legacies, your Power of the Primes, and all them ones that Titans Return and stuff beforehand. You're really getting that quality or that level of figure, but you're having to do the Haslab to obtain it because they can't sell it at retail. So that is where I'm coming to this conclusion of Haslabs aren't masterpiece quality, which I think some people are sort of confusing. They're thinking, yes, we're paying sort of a high price, but you're getting a bigger figure in general that just they don't believe is going to sell at retail. So they have to get their minimum in to make sure that they're making enough. Obviously, it's a business, so they have to make the profit margin. If they go above and beyond it, they're doing the stretch goals and they're giving you something a little extra. Now, obviously, stands and stuff wouldn't really have came in retail. You wouldn't have got the Razor Crest stand. Death Source, you might have got the chair, the throne, you know, stuff like that. They're little extras just because they've surpassed their goals and stuff. So therefore, you can sort of see it in that sense. But I do see across the fandom where a lot of people are, what I get the feeling is that they're expecting masterpiece slash third party quality within these Haslabs and stuff. And really, for the Transformer side, you're getting chug figures, you know, just on a bigger scale or a bigger character or a less known character like the Victory characters, the likes of your Unicron and stuff out there that just would not be sold at retail. That's what you're getting in a Haslab. Yes, the QC issues should not be happening. As I said before, that's not acceptable, especially when they made way more than 10,000 sales on the RID Prime. I think, you know, that definitely should not be happening. So for me, say the Star Wars side of it, I can't really speak for the G.I. Joe and stuff like that because I don't collect G.I. Joe. But I think, you know, like the Star Wars stuff, it just reminds me of like the Millennium Falcons and stuff that you would have got at retail way back. But I think the toy collecting thing, or, you know, kids for toys and stuff, isn't as much now as it was when probably we were younger. You know, not to sound old, but we didn't really have iPads and stuff when we were younger. So you played with your figures, you had, you went to toy shops and stuff and you got your Millennium Falcons and you got all those sort of things that would have sold back then. But now, the way things are going, those bigger sort of scale things, parents aren't going to pay that sort of money for a big figure or a spaceship from Star Wars that their kid's not really going to look at as such. So they're looking more for that sort of 25 to 50 pound sort of figure that most retailers will stock because it does sell. But even those are starting to go on sale and stuff out there, and it just makes me think that, you know, the toy community, or like the, you know, the young kids coming in aren't looking for physical toys. I mean, they're more looking for their Fortnites and, you know, their digital sort of collection as such. So, you know, that's why you've got Haslab. So then it gives us these bigger figures or bigger collector items that you're not going to get in retail. And that is the difference, I feel, with Haslab. I think it's not that you're getting a more premium figure. What you're getting is a figure that wouldn't have seen a retail release. So in order for someone that would like to have the Victory Sabers, the Lio Kaisers, the Unicrons, Death Stars, Victory Saber, I said Victory Saber, your Razor Crest, your Ghosts, you know, those sort of things there is what you're getting with the Haslabs. You know, things that definitely would not see in retail. And I'm just recapping now is the fact that in a Haslab, it's not so much that you're getting a premium figure of masterpiece quality, you're getting a figure or ship or whatever that just wouldn't have seen retail. Would have took up too much space on a retail shelf, and retailers aren't going to be stocking that due to the collecting or the toy sales is just different nowadays, and that's just the way it is going forward. So that's my thoughts on Haslabs. Please, in the comment section below, let me know your thoughts on Haslabs. Do you think the same as me, or do you think that, have you got the opinion that it should be more premium, that it should be this, or what is your feelings when you're thinking of purchasing Haslab? Like I says, I could be wrong. That's just my thoughts, and your thoughts doesn't mean that you're wrong. You know, there could be a happy medium, and I'm really interested to know people's thoughts and feelings with the Haslabs. Where do you think that they should be? Like I says, QCs, you know, that shouldn't be happening, so we're all on board on that, but I would say, so it's more to do with what your feelings on what you should be getting as a Haslab, you know, standard wise. As I said, mine is, you're just getting figures that aren't going to hit retail, they're too big or they're too niche, so they just want to guarantee that they've made them sales and they've give you a character that you wouldn't have got otherwise. And with that, guys, until next time, stay awesome.